I never thought the worst scam of my life would come from someone who used to call me Babe with stars in her eyes. I'm 34. I run my own tech support agency, small but steady. I'm the guy you call when your company laptop freezes during a meeting, or your grandma clicks on a "you've won a free cruise" ad. I built my name on trust, on showing up when no one else would. Funny how the one time I let someone else show up for me, she didn't just fail, she robbed me blind. Her name was Danny. We met online, of course. She slid into my DMs after I made a sarcastic post about being single on Valentine's Day. "At least you've got a solid backup career as a meme curator," she joked. Clever, quick, my type. I didn't even see it coming. We started talking every day. Mornings were "good luck with your meetings." Afternoons were screenshots of weird client requests or memes about being overworked. Nights were FaceTime calls, full of soft laughter and whispered dreams. She said she ran her own clothing brand. "Nothing big," she'd say, always modest. "Just some Instagram sales and local pop-ups." I admired her hustle. 3 months in, she told me her supplier flaked on a bulk fabric order. "If I don't pay up front by Friday, I'll lose the whole season's line," she said, voice shaking. "It's just $4,800. I'll pay you back next month, I swear, with interest." I didn't blink. I wired the money that afternoon. And then, silence. No goodnight text, no funny meme, no little thinking of you voice notes. I messaged, I called, I emailed, nothing. Finally, after 3 days of digital ghosting, I tried to log into her clothing site just to see if she was active. It was gone. Her Instagram, deleted. Her LinkedIn, wiped. It was like she'd never existed. I sat on my couch, phone in hand, staring at the PayPal confirmation like it would morph into an apology. Then I tried one last thing. I dialed the number she always used. My stomach twisted when a robotic voice answered. "The number you were trying to reach has been blocked, or is no longer in service." Blocked? She blocked me, after taking my money. I sat there, stunned. Betrayal doesn't always feel like a slap. It can feel like a slow, dull ache, like waking up and realizing someone you trusted took something sacred and turned it into leverage. I felt like a fool, a damn fool. And that's when the anger began to boil. She didn't just take my money. She took my trust, my peace, my dignity. But what she didn't realize was that she messed with the wrong kind of customer. And the service I'm about to give her, it's going to be hell. The days that followed felt like moving through syrup. Thick, slow, unbearably heavy. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I kept replaying everything, every call, every kiss over FaceTime, every "I love how safe I feel with you." Safe. She used that word. The worst part wasn't the money, it was what it meant. That I'd been played, that everything was a lie. I kept checking my phone, even though I knew it was useless. I'd reread old texts looking for clues. Was that joke about needing a rich boyfriend just a joke? When she said she had money problems, was she fishing even then? I didn't want to believe it. I wanted there to be a reason, a real one. Maybe she got into an accident. Maybe she lost her phone. Maybe something, anything had gone wrong. But then came the signs. First, my buddy Aaron called. "Hey man, didn't you go out with some girl named Danny? Kinda artsy, short curly hair?" My heart stopped. "Yeah, why?" "She just followed me on LinkedIn, said she's starting some kind of brand consultancy and looking to collaborate." That didn't make sense. Her profile was gone, scrubbed. Now she had a new one? I asked for a screenshot. There it was, a new handle, same face, new name, Danielle Harper, different job title, strategic retail consultant. Same damn smile in the profile picture. I didn't know what pissed me off more, her audacity or how easily she was starting fresh. Later that night, I remembered something weird, a conversation from a month ago. We were watching TV and she got a notification, some app I didn't recognize. She quickly flipped her phone over, smiling like nothing happened. I asked her about it and she said, "Oh, just my sales tracker." It's dumb. Sales tracker? She told me she used Shopify. That wasn't the Shopify logo. Now my brain was on fire. I went back into our old text threads, searching for every mention of her business. Every excuse she gave for being busy. Every vendor delay, every supplier drama. It started to unravel. There were inconsistencies I hadn't seen before. First, she said her fabric was imported from Turkey. Then later, it was from LA. She claimed she only sold through Instagram, but one time she bragged about a huge Etsy order. Different stories, different timelines. And then I remembered something else. About a month back, she sent me a screenshot of a payment dispute with a customer. It was from a PayPal dashboard, her name blurred out at the top. At the time, I assumed she did it for privacy. Now I realized she didn't want me seeing the real account name. My skin crawled. What if Danny wasn't even her real name? I started combing through our old pictures. She rarely let me tag her, said she wasn't into being online like that. I thought it was cute. I thought she was shy. Now I knew it was calculated. I ran one of her photos through a reverse image search tool. Took a while, but I finally got a hit. A photo. From 2 years ago. Same face, different name, Jessica M. One of those sketchy affiliate marketing sites. Her face was being used to advertise a work-from-home business course. My heart sank. Was she scamming other people too? I started to spiral. I opened up Reddit, searched the names, nothing direct, but I did. Find threads in r/scams and r/relationships about similar stories. Girl I met online asked for money for a fake business. She disappeared after I sent her cash. Beware of Danny/Jessica. She's running multiple profiles. Every post felt like it was written about me. The betrayal wasn't just personal now. It felt strategic. I wasn't the only one. And the more I uncovered, the more I realized I had no idea who this woman really was. She wasn't Danny, or Jessica, or Danielle Harper. She was a ghost. A walking red flag I'd painted white with my own loneliness. I was furious. But underneath that rage was something worse. Shame. Because I'd fallen for it. Because I'd handed over my trust, my money, and maybe even pieces of my heart to someone who never existed. Not really. But now, the tide was turning. I didn't have proof yet. Not solid, actionable proof. But the cracks were showing. And I wasn't about to sit in silence and lick my wounds. I was going to pull the thread. And when her whole web started to unravel, I'd be the one watching from the outside. Not as a victim, but as the customer who refused to stay on hold. The breakthrough didn't come with a bang. It came with a folder. I was sitting in my office, half buzzed on stale coffee and anger, combing through old messages for the 100th time when I noticed something I had missed. An old PDF she sent me months ago. A mock-up of her clothing brand's business proposal. At the time, I skimmed it, thinking she was just being transparent and ambitious. But now, I was looking at it with new eyes. I opened it and zoomed in. Her logo, Lena Ray Apparel, sat proudly at the top. It looked official, branded. Even had a tax ID number at the bottom. That number lit a fire in me. I copied it, opened a few government registry databases I use for my IT clients, and plugged it in. And there it was, not under the name Danielle, or Danny, or Jessica. The business was registered under a completely different name, Monica Fields. I stared at the screen, my breath caught in my chest. She had a whole other identity. The name matched the public business license, mailing address, everything. And guess what? That address led to a P.O. box. I dug deeper, pulling up business reviews, tax records, and old archive pages using the Wayback Machine. One version of the Lena Ray site from last year listed Monica as the founder. I found a buried contact email, not the one she used with me, but an old Gmail that seemed dormant. I copied it and searched. The results were like unraveling the layers of a Russian nesting doll of lies. I found a complaint thread on a scam reporting site. Beware of Lena Ray Apparel. Took my money, never shipped. Monica Fields is a scammer. Dated 11 months ago. I didn't just have suspicions now. I had a trail. Real names, real complaints, financial inconsistencies. I opened my banking app and exported my transaction. History. The money I sent her wasn't to a business account. It was to a personal PayPal under M. Fields. The pieces locked into place. That was the final push I needed. I printed everything, organized it by date. I created a file with screenshots, bank records, archived emails, Reddit threads, even photos from her fake profiles. It was like building a case file for the FBI. But I wasn't handing it to the FBI. Not yet. I had something else in mind. This wasn't about revenge, not exactly. This was about making sure she never did this again. I started reaching out, quietly. First, to my buddy Aaron, the one she'd recently contacted. I sent him everything. "She's a con artist," I said. "Here's the proof. Don't reply to her." He was stunned, but promised to spread the word in his network. Then I reached out to 2 of the Reddit users who had written about similar scams. We got on a group call. They described everything, how she sweet-talked them, promised fake collaborations, even tried to convince one of them to send her inventory for resale. They both confirmed the name Monica Fields. One even had a voice recording. It was her, that calm, charming voice, almost musical. Hearing it again made my skin crawl. But I wasn't done. I called a friend who worked in small claims court processing, explained everything, asked her what it would take to file a fraud case. "Technically it qualifies," she said, "but unless you can serve her or find a real residential address, you'll hit a wall." So I pivoted. Digital warfare. I created a clean, anonymous email account, set up a new Instagram page titled The Real Lena Ray Scam. I uploaded screenshots, the proof, the patterns, the testimonials. I tagged similar small business accounts, used scam hashtags, and shared it across Reddit, Facebook groups, and even TikTok. It took off faster than I expected. Within days, I had dozens of messages, more people, more stories, more victims, and someone sent me a screenshot that made my jaw drop. It was a DM from Danny, now using yet another alias, trying to collaborate on a new boutique line. Different name, same scam. Only this time, the person she targeted replied with a link to my page, blocked instantly. But it was too late. The thread was growing. People were catching on. And that's when I got the email. No subject line. Just a reply to the burner email I had posted on the awareness page. "You really think this will fix anything? You're pathetic. You gave me that money willingly. You're just mad you got outplayed." There it was. Proof, in her own words. She confessed. And more than that, she mocked me. Mocked my generosity, mocked my kindness, mocked my belief that someone could need help and actually deserve it. That was the final ember, the spark that turned my quiet, simmering resolve into full-blown fire. She wanted to play games? Cool. But this time, she wasn't going to like being the one, left on hold. I stared at her email for a long time. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, itching to respond. But I didn't. Not yet. She wanted me to lash out, to scream into the void and look unhinged. She wanted to keep the upper hand, but she forgot something. I run systems. I understand pressure points. I know where the weak links live, in the fine print, in the back end, in the assumptions people make when they think no one's looking. And I wasn't just looking. I was watching. I knew from one of the Reddit victims that she was using a new platform to sell her fake inventory, a bootleg site hosted through a third-party e-commerce engine. It was cheap, fast, and riddled with vulnerabilities. The kind of thing you spin up in a weekend when you're planning to disappear after the money rolls in. So, I made my move. I contacted the hosting provider, submitted a detailed fraud report, attached PDFs of my police report, screenshots of testimonials from other victims, and evidence that she was impersonating business owners across state lines. I even flagged the tax ID she listed on the fake invoices. Then I contacted PayPal. I sent them the same package. I knew getting my money back was a long shot, but I wasn't just after mine anymore. I wanted them to freeze her account, stop the bleeding before anyone else got fooled. They responded in 48 hours. "We've reviewed your complaint and found your claims credible. The account in question has been restricted pending investigation." That was only the beginning. I launched a campaign across every platform she was using. Not hate, not slander, just truth. Cold, hard truth, backed with evidence. I posted in comment sections, tagged fashion watchdog accounts, submitted reports to Instagram and Facebook. I uploaded a TikTok explainer with a calm voice and a slideshow of receipts. "This is Monica Fields, also known as Danny, Jessica, and Danielle. She's scammed multiple small business owners, including me. Here's what you need to know. It hit 100,000 views in a day. And then something unbelievable happened. She called me, private number. I let it ring once, twice. My heart thudded like a drum against my ribs. I picked up. Silence. Then, "You really had to take it this far?" Her voice, calm, slippery. But this time, there was a crack in it. I didn't raise my voice. I kept it even. "You took everything I gave you and spit in my face. You could have ghosted. I might have walked away. But you got greedy. You kept scamming. So, yeah, I took it this far. I took it exactly as far as you forced me to. You're ruining my life. No, I'm stopping you from ruining anyone else's." She scoffed. "What do you want, an apology? Is this your revenge tour?" "No," I said. "This is customer service. And you're on hold." Silence. Then she hung up. 2 hours later, I got another email, this time from the site host. "The website you flagged has been suspended for policy violations and confirmed fraudulent activity." Victory. But it wasn't over, because a day later, someone tagged me on Twitter. Apparently, Monica tried to host a live sale event, one last con before she went dark again. She'd been promoting it for a week under yet another alias, so I joined the live. Hundreds of people were watching. Her camera was angled just above her shoulders, the lighting soft and flattering. She was smiling, bubbly, holding up a dress. And then, in the comment feed, one by one, the truth started dropping. "She scammed me. Check at Lena Ray Scam for proof. This woman is not who she says she is." She faltered. She tried to ignore it, but the comments kept coming, faster, relentless, overwhelming. She tried to block, tried to defend herself. There are a lot of trolls out there. Please don't believe lies. But someone shared a link to the evidence folder, my evidence. The live crashed. She went offline. Her page was deleted the next morning, and 2 days later, an online newsletter for indie fashion brands published a piece titled, "The Woman Who Faked It All: How a Con Artist Fooled the Small Business World." They used my story, gave me credit, and most importantly, they warned people. I sat back, staring at the screen. For the first time in weeks, my hands weren't shaking. I hadn't gotten my money back, but I got something better. I got the truth in the light, I got justice, and I got the last word. The days after her exposure felt still not peaceful, exactly, but still, like the storm had passed and the world was just catching its breath. The posts stopped coming, no more fake profiles, no new names popping up on boutique forums or small business groups. It was like she vanished, again. But this time, not because she wanted to, because she had to. I heard through one of the Reddit threads that someone filed a case with the FTC. Another person submitted her business trail to a fraud watchdog site that partners with law enforcement. One victim even said her cousin worked for a bank's risk compliance team. They were flagging her payment activity across multiple accounts. That was the ripple effect. Every lie she told had a trail, and every person she scammed now had the tools to fight back. Her name, all her names, were tainted now. Her digital fingerprint had been marked. She couldn't just reboot and start fresh this time, not without that stink of truth following her into every new fake alias she tried to wear like perfume. But what stayed with me wasn't the satisfaction of the takedown. It was what came after. I'd sit in my apartment and hear a ping from my phone and tense up, thinking maybe she found a way to come back. Maybe she was retaliating. But it'd just be a meme from Aaron or a message from a new victim saying, "Thank you. You saved me from making the same mistake." And then I'd breathe. It took longer than I'd admit to feel normal. Again. Some days, I still questioned myself. How I didn't see it. How I let it get that far. How someone who looked at me like I meant something could have been lying the whole time. But then, I'd look at the folder I kept, the digital case I built, and remind myself, I didn't lose. I fought back. And I didn't just fight for me. I fought for every person she could have hurt next. That thought, that gave me more peace than any refund ever could. It's strange how pain, when processed fully, doesn't just shrink, it reshapes you. 3 months later, I don't flinch at the sound of a new message notification. I don't pace the room when I hear a private number calling. I don't wake up with that gnawing pit in my stomach anymore. I'm good, better even. After everything happened, I took some time off from work, closed my laptop, shut off the phones, told my clients I needed space, and surprisingly, every single one of them understood. Some even shared their own stories about scams, heartbreak, trust shattered by someone who wore a mask. That part, it reminded me how universal this hurt is, how betrayal doesn't discriminate. It finds anyone with a kind heart and an open door. But I didn't want to become someone bitter. That was my biggest fear, not the loss, not the humiliation, but turning cold because of it. So I did the opposite. I opened up. I started writing about what happened, shared it on my blog, my socials. At first it was just therapy, but then strangers started messaging me, people I'd never met thanking me for being honest. Some said they were going through the same thing. Others said they had gone through it, but were too ashamed to say a word. My story helped them feel less alone, and somehow, in helping them, I started healing myself. I joined a digital fraud awareness group. I give free security consults to small creators now. People trying to sell art, clothing, crafts, without getting burned by scammers who prey on kindness. It feels right. Like turning the worst thing that happened to me into something useful. Business is booming again. I picked up 2 major contracts, both from referrals who said, "We heard you're the guy who fights back." I like that. And emotionally, I've learned to trust again, just more wisely. I still believe in love. I still believe in giving people chances. But I don't give away the keys to my heart or my bank account just because someone says the right things at the right time. I look for patterns. I ask questions. I take my time. That's not cynicism. That's wisdom. People like Danny, Monica, whatever her name was, they don't win because they take your money. They win when they take your spirit. And she didn't get mine. She tried. She used charm like a scalpel. She dressed up manipulation and sold it as romance. She banked on my loneliness and turned it into leverage. But in the end, I was the one who walked away standing, smarter, stronger, and still, somehow, still open to the good, because that's the real victory. Not exposing the scam, not going viral, not the email from PayPal or the site takedown. The real victory is that I didn't let her rewrite the story of who I am. I'm still me. Only now I know how to spot a wolf in designer sneakers. Looking back now, I realize this story was never just about money. It was about trust, about how easy it is to hand your hope to someone when they know exactly how to ask for it, about how betrayal doesn't always come with flashing warning signs. It often comes wrapped in soft laughter, shared playlists, and promises that feel too warm to question. I thought I was being generous. She saw that as weakness. I thought I was investing in someone's dream. She saw it as a payday. But here's what I learned. Being kind doesn't make you naive. Being trusting doesn't make you stupid. And being betrayed doesn't mean you're broken. It means you were brave enough to believe in someone. And if there's one thing I took from this whole mess, it's that strength isn't loud. It doesn't always show up with fists and fury. Sometimes strength is quietly gathering the pieces, building the proof, and choosing not to let the worst thing that happened to you define the rest of your story. I got scammed, yes, but I didn't stay a victim. I became the warning she couldn't erase, the voice she couldn't block, the name behind the truth she tried to bury. And maybe that's the real justice, not in the revenge, not in the exposure, but in the fact that she no longer controls the narrative. I do. So, if you've ever been lied to, cheated, used, I want you to hear this. You are not weak for loving fully. You are not foolish for believing the best in someone. You are not broken because someone else chose to be heartless. You're human. And if you're lucky, like I was, you'll come out of the fire not just alive, but lit from within. Burning brighter, smarter, and unshakably aware of your worth. Because some people block you after they take from you, but one day, they'll find themselves on hold, waiting for someone to save them. And that call, it's never coming.